Hi everyone. Um, so today I want to talk about something that uh, almost everyone who is going on a weight loss journey or improving their health and well-being misunderstands at some point in their journey. Not all the time or anything like that, but at some point it occurs, and it's quite a natural thing to happen. And that is the idea that you slow down. So slowing down. Um, can come in different forms. Not just feeling when you're going slower, but things get quieter. You might feel less driven, and all of these things can spark a kind of alarm bell going off. I'm losing my motivation. I'm not pushing hard enough. I should be doing more than this. And that misunderstanding alone creates an unnecessary pressure and a lot of self-judgment. So today, what we're going to try and do is reframe that idea, because slowing down doesn't usually mean you're actually stuck. It actually means something very different from that, and it can be your wisdom underneath the surface, um, doing some very important things for you. So most of us have been conditioned to believe that progress should look very obvious. We should be feeling it. We should feel it through effort, intensity, more discipline, more rules, things like that. And then when the energy drops off, we assume that something's actually going wrong. But that belief comes from an old model of change, one that treats health as something that you make happen. Uh, you do things rather than allow things to unfold. In the early stages of change, speed can feel uh, really reassuring. You're doing things, you're engaged, you're in the game. Um, you can have plans, you can have structure, and they give you a sense of motivation. They help you to feel safe. You're in it. Everything's going as it should be going, and you feel that energy. But as your relationship with food, your body, um, everything starts to shift as you will go through the journey, because you begin to break habits, you do things differently. So everything begins to just shift. And as part of that shift that's occurring, things become quieter. And quietness can feel unsettling, particularly if you're used to this pushing, this energy happening, making things go on. When it becomes quieter, when things slow down, you notice the contrast. And so instead of trusting the change on what's happening, you question it. And when you question it, you often try and reapply the pressure, the thing that you're used to. And that can be a cause for considerable disruption. So an analogy I used in an email I sent out this week was, think about a tightrope walker. Just imagine the tightrope walker. You're in the circus or somewhere at a show and you see someone walking across a tightrope. They don't move very quickly. They don't rush from one end to the other. Um, every step is very slow. It's deliberate. It's responsive. That's really important. They're responding to something. They're sensing tiny changes beneath their feet. Then they're adjusting. They're fully present about what's going on. They're not on autopilot. So from the outside, it might look that they're being very cautious or hesitant. But in reality, the pace that they're following is really intelligence, because speed would be reckless. Force could easily knock them off balance. So the moment they stop listening to the feedback, they could fall. And that's how deeper, more sustainable change works. When your system starts paying attention, the pace naturally softens. It's taking on board more stuff. You're in a place of clarity. So when your mind settles down, you become more aware of things. This opens up the opportunity for you to take on much more information, to understand that information. But we live in a world where we're taught, get on with it, make it happen, force it, etc. But often when we're doing it that way, we're relying on willpower and discipline, and it just doesn't work. It might work in the short term, but it's not sustainable. So when you're slowing down on your journey, it doesn't mean you're not doing anything. It might look like noticing old eating patterns before you automatically act on them. So things coming up, things arising. When you have cravings or you have those emotional urges, pausing. You might notice those kind of things, listening to your body instead of overriding it with rules. What does your body really want? Taking notice of those things. Now, that doesn't mean you won't eat the thing that you were tempted to eat. You still might make the choices you've made before, but there's awareness now present. And that's the thing that enables change or movement to take place. Even if it doesn't look dramatic, it's important because this is where behavior is recognizing from the inside out. It doesn't need force, it has less force, it has less exhaustion and tiredness, and it has much more alignment. Now, from the outside, it can look like nothing's happening, but from the inside, everything is shifting. And this slower phase is often where weight loss becomes sustainable. And that's what, in Like Minds, we're really all about. Making change that's sustainable. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're no longer fighting yourself. You see, when you're using willpower and stuff, you're trying to overcome things. There's effort involved, but the effort is overcoming how you currently are. When you're able to let go of that, things shift quite naturally. You might find hunger begins to regulate much more naturally. Your energy stabilizes. The decisions you make become much easier, more calmer. And when you wobble, you don't turn it into a verdict about yourself, how bad you are for not being able to do things the way you think they should be. And that alone, saving on those wobbles, will save you an awful lot of energy. So progress becomes something that unfolds uh, rather than you have to survive it. And ironically, this is often the point where people finally stop burning out. And that's really important if you want sustainable change. So progress isn't always fast, but it's always happening, especially when it's subtle. Some of the most important changes don't shout, they whisper. They show up as ease, as less urgency, as fewer internal battles. And they're signs of health, not complacency. So this can be really quite disconcerting for people. But when you allow it to happen, the feedback you'll notice you're doing things quite differently than you were before, and you won't really register why. But the change has taken place inside you, not because you forced it or made something happen by doing. So I always like to try and add something practical in, but so try this, just over the next few days. Do one thing more slowly than you normally would. That's it, just one. You might eat your meal, food with more presence, slow down. You might take a gentler walk rather than be in a hurry. Um, you might move through part of the day without rushing to the next thing. Don't try and achieve anything. There's no result to be achieved, no outcome, no success. Just do it that way. Just notice what happens um, when you just replace pressure to do things a particular way. Often you'll feel much more grounded, more settled, more connected. And that's the feeling that's worth paying attention to. Uh, because for those of you that have done the Light Minds program, you'll know it's that feeling that actually ultimately we all want. This feeling of sense of being grounded, being at peace, being calm, having clarity. So if things feel slower for you right now, see if you can soften your judgment about that. It's not a problem to be fixed. You don't have to go in search of anything. It may just be wisdom emerging for you, and that's it. So hopefully, you can enjoy the process. Speak to you soon. Thanks.